Hey guys, what's up? Hey Loki, perfect time just got here. Yep. Yes. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. Episode, I don't know. I think I just decided a number was like 29, like based on the other episodes that we've had. But hey, how's it going, guys? You guys doing good? Doing well? It's Friday. Can never go wrong with a Friday. But yes, so we are live on YouTube and Rumble. And hopefully everyone is doing well and going to enjoy their weekend. I have like a bunch of tabs open, so I'm trying to like get the chat open for both YouTube and Rumble, and then also kind of get my the stuff that I found interesting. Here we go. Then we'll grab this. Then we'll pull this over here. So looked into what's happening in the old world of pop culture and found some interesting stuff that caught my interest. Some some video game stuff, some anime stuff. So I figured we go ahead and take a look and see what all the hubbub is about. We'll start off with something that I thought was cute. And that has to do with Resident Evil 4. So let me pull this up here. I put this in like the wrong spot. Ugh. Let's see. And this comes from, I believe, Niche Gamer. Let's see. Screen, window, or no, Brave tab. That's what we want. Well, bam. Yeah, we've got Niche Gamer and some interesting stuff here. And this is again kind of ties into my enjoyment of like the modding community and like people that take aspects and elements of games, excuse me, elements as I choke on my own phlegm. And found this. We already know that they've already released a Resident Evil 4 remake, but I guess someone has gone taken a Resident Evil 4 remake and have according to this, demade it into your old school Resident Evil games that you saw, or hopefully that maybe you guys played back in the old PS1 era. So I thought this was pretty cool. And there's a website that I go on a lot of times called romhacking.net, and you can find like just a bunch of stuff there with the modding community of people making like personal projects to where it's like, hey, I enjoyed this game, could have used some tweaking and fixing and stuff. So they'll go into the coding and actually fix it and stuff. Some people like to enhance games that are already out there and just want to polish it up, or maybe they like the style of another part of the series of whatever it is that they enjoyed, and they're like, I like this style of the series of the game, and so I want to apply it to the earlier part of the series and stuff like that. So this really caught my interest, so figured we check it out, see what's up. Apparently the Bleach creator is saddened that Lude or Hime scene was cut out from the anime. Very disheartening, very rude to not allow the creator's wishes of how he made the story. So Resident Evil 4 remake gets an absurdly charming PS1 demake. And as you can see right here, we've got Leon, and we got the claw guy that's blind but listens by sound, and you have to avoid him and like shoot the plagas in the back. So a fan has made a video featuring the Resident Evil 4 remake if it were made for the PS1, something they do often for many modern games. Oh, I guess he just made a trailer. I wonder if he'll like go further and like actually make the whole game like that. That'd be pretty cool. Remember that part too well. Oh yes. I haven't seen the remake portion of that part of the game. A fan has made a video. I already read that. Rustic Games BR often takes modern Resident Evil games and others and recreates them in the style of the earlier trilogy, depicting what they might look like if they were instead made for the old PS1. Resident Evil 4 remake is their latest target, as this video depicts a classic scenario. So we just got a bunch of. Unfortunately, the video will likely not become a playable game as usual. Their creations are solely for videos. Ah, well, that's a very short article that they just padded with a with a bunch of pictures. But that's what happens whenever I like see these articles and kind of want to share with you guys, like, what all it entails and stuff like that. So first, this is like, your first reaction of what it is, but we'll definitely check out the video, see what's up. Hopefully this doesn't demonetize anything. Yeah, take that prison key. Uh-oh.
Shut up.
That was awesome. Even I was gonna be like, dude, shut up, Ashley. I have to find the key before I leave. There's a switch. Will you push it? Man, this brings. I mean, I never had a PS1. I had a PS2, but I have played the old school Resident Evil games and definitely capturing the feels. That's for sure. Pick that key up. Take the prison key. Put it in your hand. Now, if I remember right, aren't there supposed to be pillars like in the prison area that you can kind of hide behind? Yeah, there's the bug on his back. Oh, that was it? They didn't even get to the. Oh man, we didn't get to see any action. Boo. Boo.
Shut up.
I did like that part. That part was great. What's up, Chaos? Yo, long time no see. Indeed. Long time no see, indeed. Well, that was kind of disappointing in the sense that we didn't get to see any actions, but that could probably have taken a while to animate and stuff like that. I just think it's funny that Niche Gamer like padded this with screenshots to fill out the article. Oh, Niche Gamer. Wonder what. Let's see. Do we have any comments? Nope. Oh, we got to subscribe to become a member to get commenting access and true free speech. Well, I am for free speech, but right now we ain't subscribing. Chaos Smash, I've been avoiding because I don't want to spoil myself of Wild Arms. Ooh, yes, we have recently finished Wild Arms for the PlayStation. Beautiful game, wonderful game. Definitely an underrated series, or at least one. I'm sure I'll continue the Wild Arms series later, but fantastic game. Really enjoyed that game. Really enjoyed that game. Well, sorry guys. I was hoping there'd be a little bit more to this article than just this, but I mean that's still I still enjoy again for me what caught my eye is the fact of people going out of their way to recapture that nostalgic feeling and recapture that time when and I think this is kind of why people really enjoy the 90s and the early 2000s and even the 80s too is that there was this constant changing and this feeling of like anything is possible. Doesn't matter on how goofy and corny it is. Like we see that in the movies, we see that in the video games, and we see that in the anime and the cartoons and all that stuff. It's like the possibility were endless, and you could just have these terrible ideas, but yet if it's done right, like people enjoyed it. At least niche gamer can edit their articles. Very true, very true. All right. Well, we had that one. So as you guys can kind of tell by the title that came across some other stuff too. But before we dive in deep with that one, we'll continue with something else catching my eye too. So also from niche gamer, there's a game called Soul Sling, and it caught my interest because it looks very westernish in terms of like concept of having like your six shooter and all that stuff. So I read a little bit of this article, but we'll definitely take a peek and see what's up. Soul Slinger, Envoy of Death, preview doing Death's work. Very interesting. So it says continuing our coverage of 2023 Steam Next Fest. They say we have Soul Slinger. So we play as the nameless Soul Slinger, a man who walks through limbo trying to cling to his fading memories. The Slinger's main task is service of death. In service of death is to recover souls stolen by a cartel of demons. So we got your supernatural element on the side of stuff. And the soul slinger seems to have some sort of deal with death, probably pertaining to him returning to life, but it's unclear why death doesn't go after the souls himself. Maybe he's just lazy. He seems plenty powerful, even lending the player some of his powers, but maybe he's just really lazy or something. Oh, look at that. Even the article stated what I was thinking. So, roguelike arena shooter, that's something that's kind of alerting to me because if it's the kind of gameplay that I'm thinking, I'm not a huge fan of those. But let's see what's up. But like, yeah, look at this picture. We got, got your pistol shooting up demons. Apparently, part of the cartel. What's there not to like? So, a Soul Slinger Envoy of Death follows the needless roguelike trend, where the game uses tough enemies as a hard wall for the player while making sure to slowly drip feed you with upgrades so you can break through these walls by grinding. Chaos says games look good. It looks good. My biggest yeah, and that's kind of what I was worried about because of these rogue type like trends, like what this article is describing, where it's stuff kind of like that, and there's not really a big main story. That's unfortunate because I like the concept. Like I like the concept. That's what I like about it. And if the developers actually had like a big main story to it, I would have picked it up in a heartbeat. But I don't know. The game has a problem of feeling very unfair to justify its roguelike status, which would be fine if the game actually had a satisfying unlock system, but it doesn't. Oh, feels a bit unfair to judge the game on what I think it should be, but at the same time, Soul Slinger. Oh man, there's a tongue twister for you. Envoy of Death has no business being a roguelike. Just make it a straightforward story enough of the rogue shit. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was hoping that this would be. Getting pretty disappointing just to see how many developers are presenting half of a game under the pretense that it's actually a roguelike, refusing to design a campaign for your game, making the enemies insanely tough, and locking upgrades behind an unreasonable grind doesn't make your game a roguelike. Does make you a really bad game designer, though. Oh man, niche gamer going for the throat on this. Augusto, Gusto A, he's going ham. He's driving that knife in deep. But I do agree. I do agree. There's definitely a lot of these rogue type games that it's one thing to have, and that's kind of, and I don't really like those type of games because they're I can grind, but like we saw in like Wild Arms, but there's a time where it's like I'm done grinding, like I want to advance. Like I want more to something that's than this. Oof, shots fired. Yeah, I know. There was absolutely no restraint when it came to making sure the player doesn't get too far without upgrades. Even the enemies in the first room will eat a good third of your health if they look at you wrong. The demo currently available on Steam ends right after you fight the game's first boss, which you can reach in less than 10 rooms. Really? This doesn't inspire any sort of confidence in me. It makes me wonder just how much content this game even has. Oh, and that's unfortunate. True, grinding is fine until a point. Well, yeah, and it depends on the game and the game style and what sort of grinding you want to do. Like when it comes to RPGs or JRPGs, you know you're going to have to grind. Even action RPGs, you know there's going to be at some point of grinding. But I mean, I go back to Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger was so well balanced in everything to where you didn't like the grinding was part of the story. You know, like you didn't have to technically go out of your way to grind to advance the story of Chrono Trigger because they gave you enough. It's balanced enough to where the enemies you fight per just going through the story is enough to advance the story and get to the end of the game. But if you want to go out of your way to unlock like the moves and stuff, which back in my playing of Chrono Trigger, the Nintendo DS version, I did to get the what is it, the TP or the TB to unlock all the moves that the characters can like do with each other and stuff like that. Like that wasn't a problem for me. Again, like I think that's a prime example of everything being balanced well enough. Like stuff like this with the rogue thing where it's like, "Oh yeah, just grind enough and you'll get enough stuff to unlock upgrades and stuff like that." It's like, "Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, even if you want to pull in a Call of Duty like Nazi zombies, like there's like a bunch of lore in that. There was actually a story behind it and it was fun. That was something that I enjoyed, but after a while I was like, yeah, I kind of want to move on. Let's see. So it feels like Soul Singler Envoy of Death will be one of those games that tries as hard as it can to extend its playtime despite not really having that much content. I would like to be wrong about this, but it's hard to ignore the patterns when they are right in your face. Yeah, I agree if I take this person's word at face value. Yeah, I agree. Like another example would actually be Hades. Hades is a great game with that sort of grinding and repetitiveness, but you unlock the story along the way and it's new in the sense that you can get different upgrades every time, sort of thing. So I'm rather disappointed in this. Oh, there's more. As a shooter, the game feels extremely limp. Ugh. Your guns don't have enough feedback or recoil to feel powerful, but they do shake the hell out of the screen when you shoot for some reason. Which I assume is another element of artificial difficulty to trip the player up. Wait, so you don't feel the the pressure of the recoil, but so instead they just make the screen shake when you shoot? Okay. There's a real problem with the game's visual clarity in general, especially when all of your skills make a massive wave or explosion that makes it incredibly hard to see. Getting your screen covered by fire while the camera jumps around every time you shoot makes for an unbearable experience. Ugh. Wonder if there's actually like gameplay footage. Because honestly, I'm not going to go out of my way to check out like exactly what this game is talking about. Like, I'm not going to test the demo. Um, Mostly because I was hoping there was an actual story, but I guess not. Well, you know how it is today. Get people to play as long as they can. Yeah. So it looks pretty graphic wise, despite a pretty weak art direction, but it's extremely prone to stuttering. Your first few seconds in a new combat room will always be a slideshow, and any particular particles the enemies emit will also make sure to drop your frame rate as well. Oh, the game's environments are really cluttered, which couple, I mean, like that's the thing. That's the sucky part too. Now, granted, like these graphics that you see right here, it should be no surprise for this type of game. Like, if the graphics doesn't look like this, then the game should fail automatically. And to me, that also is something to where like the whole idea of like, oh my gosh, it visually looks appealing. And I've said this before. If you're boasting about how beautiful the game looks, like that's really not a talking point anymore because we're at the age now where we know, depending on how like good the develop like the designers are, what technology they're using, and all that stuff. If it doesn't look like this, then you suck. Xenoverse 2 creators doing big things for Xenoverse. So the game's environments are really cluttered, which coupled with the bad enemy AI means you'll have enemies jumping the same gap over and over or just standing in place looking menacingly at you. Well, shoot them in the head if it's a free kill. It's quite clear that the game's environments have been over designed to the point where the enemies can't navigate them. Oof. The main hub area, uh, Heaven, is probably the nicest place in the game, despite the fact that the environment artist added sway to every single tree. So the forest looks like it's made out of rubber. Uh oh. Chaos says, I don't like the Unreal Engine look of this. I know, like, I get what you mean. I think if and I think that comes down to the developers to hide that style and use it to where they can create a unique style that's unique to them. Can't explore much of the hub area, and your only real option are to talk with Death or one of the NPCs that sits by a bonfire when you come in. Unreal Engine is so useless. I haven't kept up with any Unreal Engine info. The bits of dialogue you get either deliver exposition for the player or guide you towards a mechanic without much of dialogue for dialogue's sake. Death is probably the best part of the game, mostly because of his design, how matter of fact he is. The bluntness in his dialogue can be quite funny at times. Overall, Soul Slinger is not a good roguelike. It's also not a good arena shooter or even a good regular shooter. Oh, it's tough work to find anything actually redeemable about this game outside from its initial presentation. Dang, that sucks. Because that's what kind of sparked my interest. Because it was like, oh, it's an undead Western thing. Like we've kind of seen, what is it? There's a PS2 game that I actually need to play at some point. That's kind of like the similar, what is it, Death Stalker? Death Walker? I don't know. It's a Western PS2 type of game that it's a combo of like Western and undead sort of thing. So roguelike fans won't get any satisfaction from the game's unlocks, and arena area shooter fans will be bored out of their minds with how simplistic the game is. So it's really difficult to imagine who this game is even for. The average bio roll ugh, excuse me, the average buyer will probably grab this game because it looks really good at a first glance, but I can't imagine anyone would be able to sit through it without its monotonous gameplay and glaring performance issues. This one's just really a waste of assets. Well, niche gamer not pulling any punches. There you go. Dang, that's unfortunate. I was hoping there actually be a baller story. It's a video that Hiro Hiei put out involving localization. Check it out later in the stream. Man, I haven't really sat down and watched Hiro Hiei for a long time. All right. So, so this was something I've seen other people talk about, and I kind of want to dive in a little bit more and just see what I can find. And that has to do with Ubisoft, an Ubisoft CEO talking about how physical media may slowly be dying and continue to die until it falls off, but supposedly it won't be going away. Uh, I don't know. That one's a tough one because all the big companies want you to go on a subscription base. And what a lot of people are asking, it's like, well, okay, but we want these games. And it's either not going to be available or we can't do it because there's licensing issues or it needs to be updated for modern times. So I actually got two. Yeah, I got two articles here talking about Ubisoft, the Ubisoft executive. So this comes from Video Game Chronicles. So Ubisoft executive says physical sales may continue to fall, but they're not going away. And some people will always want to own the physical disc. Well, yeah, just make it worth my money because everything's now going to the game to where your physical copy is just the Blu-ray, the case, a insert sleeve, and that's it. You don't even get manuals anymore. So Ubisoft executive Chris Early foresees a future where physical game sales may continue to decline, but he doesn't think they'll ever go away completely. I think he just threw that in there to not discourage people, or by people I mean gamers, but I honestly think that's not true. I think a lot of these companies want everything to go digital so they can have more control over it. That's why. The Assassin's Creed publisher recently agreed to acquiring cloud gaming rights outside the European Economic Area for all Activision Blizzard games released over the next 15 years. Oh yeah, that's another thing too I found is the Activision Blizzard simulation. Oh, did I close that article that was about that? Oh no, I have it open. I guess I didn't have two. I guess I had two like Ubisoft themed articles, but not like different. Ubisoft is like the key point, but different themed in a different talk of it. So, and while the company is betting on streaming revolutionizing the games industry. See, right there. Just it literally just said what I just said. That's all. That's what they want. They want everything to be streaming. They want everything to be subscription based. I wouldn't even be surprised if down the road they won't even like the only way to get games is to buy their subscription fee, to buy their subscription base. They could even do away with digital ownership. So, and while the company is betting on streaming revolutionizing the games industry in the same way it has transformed the TV and film businesses, Early, who was an influential figure in the negotiations of the Activision rights, thinks physical sales will always have a place. There's a collector edition market. Ubi's SVP, Strategic Partners and Business Development, told the company's website. There's the aspect of gifting physical items and allowing access for people to be able to easily purchase a game in a store and gift them to their friends and family. But that's it. That's not the main point of having a physical copy. Is not to be able just so you can gift it. The idea of a physical copy is that depending on how much you want to spend, there are unique things that come along with it. Your collector's editions. Like back in the day with Gears of War, you could get the steel hard copies. Some people like collecting just the steel hard copies. And with that came a bunch of other little knickknacks and stuff like that. I'm still retro back in the day of your Sega Genesis. Your Sega Genesis case and game is a prime example. You had the case that a lot of times was just hanging up on the wall with a tab. DBZ Breakers turns 1 today. DBZ Breakers? I don't know why that's eluding me. But you can even go back with the Nintendo. With the Nintendo, unfortunately, a lot of people got rid of the case that it came in because they thought it was just garbage. Like they didn't need it. You just needed the game and the manual. But the case, the jewel case, the case and the manual was part of the charm. And, Nintendo, unfortunately, since they made it out of cardboard, even with the Super Nintendo, people pitched that stuff. But Sega Genesis got it right, where they utilized it to also being selling point because it had the tabs on there that they could just hang on the wall, and then people can just go and look and grab it. And then when you open it, you get a nice manual as well, colorful manuals. It's like with the PlayStation. That's how you can tell when there's a PlayStation. And then what is it? There's like different versions of PlayStation, not like greatest hits. Or maybe it is with the greatest hits. With the greatest hits, you I think it's if you look at the manuals aren't colored anymore. Like if you grab the greatest hits version. Of course they want to control everything exactly. I like having a copy of things. I literally have all Assassin's Creed games on consoles that are on the PS3, PS4. But I honestly think a lot of the gamers, if the companies would go back to back in the day where you got your case and you have a nice manual, I think a lot of people would be happy with that, but they're not going to because all of the resources go into making the game as beautiful and as polished as possible and with the goal of making it more realistic. We want it more realistic. And you got to compensate for that. And it's like, well, no, like why can't we have enough of the information to know like yeah, we could possibly see this happening in our world and stuff like that, but there's also a celestial charm to it, and out of this world things. Like, your old school PlayStation 2 cutscenes back in the day, where it's clear that like if it's a model of a human, the proportions may not exactly be like that of a human, but that's part of the charm. Controlling things is the norm now. Yep. Anyway, but I disagree with this strategic partnership in business development to where it's like, oh yeah, we understand that people want to gift the game as a family. No, that's not the main reason. The main reason is that if you're giving us a game, like at least make it to where you actually care about the case and the manual as well. But the games don't even have manuals anymore. And the best they can do, if you just get the basic version, is maybe have a cover sleeve that is reversible. Some people will always want to own the physical disc. I just don't think it's going away. I just don't think it's going away. Do I think physical sales might get lower over time? Sure, but will it ever completely go away? I don't think so. I think this is very disingenuous. I think that that they're planning that and that they're hoping that they're slowly getting people to be comfortable with buying a subscription or buying a digital version to when they won't be mad when they finally are like, yeah, we're done with physical copies of it. We're done. We're done. You can still make the console. We'll still make the consoles for you, and the console, like if you still buy our consoles, maybe they'll try to start weaseling in to where buy our consoles and we'll give you, you know, it'll come with all these access to all these old games down the road. And then when you just pay the subscription fee, then you can go online and play with your friends, and then it'll unlock more stuff. We'll blame the quote fans. Even back then, those people wanted the characters to look like actual real people. I mean, I respect the technology that comes in with motion capturing and stuntmanship and stuff like that. I respect that and I understand that, but and we've heard it before, the glorified walking simulator. Like that needs that like that's actually starting to become a problem because the triple A game the triple A companies are banking on the fact of like, well, people are going to buy this because this character looks like this celebrity and stuff like that. It's the same thing. It's what the voice actors got upset with when all of a sudden the big companies are hiring voice uh or hiring well-known actors who may suck at voice acting to voice these these characters that are already established, just because it's a big name and it's going to pull in the money. Like, it's starting to infest everything. It's investing in anime, it's investing in video game. It's now starting to invest in video games even more so because now they're using like facial capture to actually capture the actors and actresses. It's starting to become a problem. These people get rich and then they become disconnected from reality. The walking simulator needs to go. It has no need to exist anymore. Yeah. Yeah, or it needs to be contained well. So Microsoft, which already offers to all digital Xbox Series S consoles, could be set to launch an all digital Xbox Series X next year, according to a recent leak. Sony, which currently offers disc based and all digital versions of the PS5, said digital counted digital accounted for 67% of the 264.2 million games sold for its console during its last uh, fiscal year ended in March. I feel like I read that sentence wrong because that I don't get what the point of telling us that is. Although I did hear somewhere that there may like I did hear that with the new PS5 Slim coming out that they're actually adding a disc reader, like they're making the disc reader an add-on, which is actually pretty clever because then you could just replace the add-on if if Sony actually cares about that, because they could make it to where you only can buy the Sony version of that disc reader if it goes bad. Because I doubt they'll want people to be able to figure out how to recreate it and sell it at a cheaper price, or heaven forbid they figure out how repair people can actually fix it themselves. But anyway, while most AAA games currently receive dual physical and digital release, some are only available to download. Alan Wake 2 will be released this month. I actually do want to play that game. I need to still play Alan Wake 1 though. Released this month as a digital only game. Why? Explaining the decision not to release a box copy. Oh yeah, please explain it to us. Developer Remedy said, for one, a large number of players have shifted to digital only. That's exactly what I just talked about. That's what they purposely want that to do. You can buy a Sony PlayStation 5 without a disc. Oh shit. Whoops. You can buy a Sony PlayStation 5 without a disc drive, and Microsoft Xbox Series S is a digital only console. It's not uncommon to release modern games in digital only. Dude, I would tell that developer, I would tell developer Remedy that you guys wouldn't even exist if it weren't for people who actually went out and physically bought your hand or your games. Fortunately, the woman in Alan Wake 2 is race swap from white to black. Of course. I am not surprised. Of course she is. Ridiculous. Hold on real quick. Just checking something here on my end. I think we're good. Okay. Large number of players have shifted to digital only. I'm curious to know if there's actually a number for this because I don't buy that for a second. The players that are the digital only people, I probably am pretty confident in saying that those are probably young people. your kids who play the Mario games and all that, the family friendly stuff, up until maybe teenagers and stuff like that. A lot of the old school gamers that have been around for a while, maybe your early 30s to whatever, will still want a physical copy. Like, I don't believe this. I have nothing to go on, but I want to see this numbers because I actually don't believe it. And what's the point? You can only buy a Sony PlayStation 5 without a disc drive. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I can just drop some big bucks. Look at this. Why aren't you buying our consoles? It's only $600. Secondly, not releasing a disc helps keeps the price of the game at 59.99 and the PC version at 49. Funny. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Helps keep the price. I want to know. I legitimately want to know that because by if you go digital, it help keeps the price lower. My argument would be, well, stop making everything so fucking realistic. Tone that back a bit, and then you'll have the enough buffer room to maybe then justify making more physical copies of the game. Unbelievable. Chaos Smash says, I did hear that Phil Spencer said that if the Game Pass doesn't reach a certain milestone in 2027, they'll pull out of the gaming industry. Don't know what to tell you. It's the gaming industry doesn't really want to listen to people. They don't want to listen to the video game stuff. They're catering to this stupid modern audience bullshit, which is just a bunch of unhinged weirdos who are ass mad that they're not the center of the attention, so they have to cry equality and all this shit. And so then they can get the brownie points to I don't know, boast about how awesome they are that they were able to get a series to show equality. Okay, okay. I sure. Um, and then people go, well, we want these old versions of the game. We want these old school games that you're never going to release. Well, too bad. Well, too bad. Okay, well then I'll just go and get the ROM. Oh no, we're against anti-piracy. Slap you guys down. It's like, well, you're not listening to us. Not sure if it's true or not. I want it to happen, but they might backtrack. And then if the co- and then if the companies do go, well, okay, we'll give you this version of this game, they're going to censor it. They're going to change it and they're going to edit stuff. Music licensing is one thing, but changing dialogue to upgrade it to a modern audience, see, that's the other thing. They don't listen. The only people they're listening to are the woke idiots. So that was the so that was the Ubisoft executive saying that the physical sales may go down, but he doesn't think they're going away. I think they definitely purposely want it to fail and eventually fade away. That's why they're trying so hard to push the digital ownership and all that crap. They want you to get used to it so that when they do finally pull the plug on physical copies, they're hoping that the backlash isn't as bad. Honestly, if you listen to fans and what they want, makes it easy. But the thing is even the fans have been infiltrated about people who don't legitimately care about any video game series, the video game field in general. They just see the availability to get brownie points for bringing the SJW ideology to the forefront. That's the problem. That's why you hear a lot of the people say you need to gatekeep to a certain extent, which I agree. All right, so there was that. Pretty interesting. Pretty Fortunately, I think a lot of bullshit in that article coming from like the people claiming this stuff. All right, so this is another one. So it might comment on like the physical sales. Oh, it's okay. So this one in Gaming Bolt expands a bit further by talking about a collector's edition market. So I think I found this interesting because I know there was that Activision like that Activision Blizzard merger or something like that. Look at Twitter, Reddit, Reddit post, and that's their info. Yep. All right, so we're probably going to hear some of the repeating points, but let's see if there's anything. Ubisoft recently joined arms with Activision for streaming rights to Activision Blizzard properties like Call of Duty for the foreseeable future, and the French gaming giant has now offered some interesting insights when it comes to video game sales, thanks to a new blog post on the official Ubi website or Ubisoft website. I actually want to. We're going to open that because I will definitely check that out and see what's up. Knew they would want to make everything digital style games one day. Sad. All because the gaming industry wants to make everything as fucking realistic as possible, down to the point where it's like, well, you're motion capturing it. We might as well use your features or some of your features. Because you have the people who do the voice, but the motion capture model is different because they want a different look to it. Then you have some people to where the motion capture model and the voice. Again, like I've talked with Ruben Langton, who did stunt work and motion capture. You know, the guy for from Dante from the Devil May Cry series, and I respect what he's done and all that stuff too. But I mean, it's it's getting to the point where, again, it's getting to the point where not everything has to be super realistic. Oh my gosh, like focus on the controls, focus on the story, focus on the gameplay. Stop making everything quick time events. Stop making everything programmed real time events. That's why I stopped playing WWE games. Got too realistic, dude. That's why I still think the old school WCW NWO revenge games, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000. That's why all those games are cool. Very stylized, very over the top a little bit, but yet beautiful. Still had the mannerisms of the old school wrestlers and stuff like that. Claim did a good job until everything went to shit. Okay. So again, Chris Early is claiming the digital purchases of games continue to grow at a significant pace. He says that owning physical copies of games, especially collector's editions, would always have a market since people still like to gift physical media over digital counterparts. Okay, so they just added in the collector's edition to it. I still think that's bullshit though. People the only reason like people like the physical aspects of it is not just because they want to gift it. I mean, granted, I've gotten, yeah, like for like Christmas and the birthday and stuff like that, I got physical copies of games, but it's not the only reason. Yeah, maybe we wouldn't have multiple ragdoll effects that don't need to be there. All right, let's see here. We're already seeing a significant increase in the digital share of purchases, and people trust that their game's going to be available to them without absolutely requiring physical media to play it. Okay, so that's a new one. I don't think that was in the other version, in the other article that we read. Um, People trusting that their game's going to be available to them without absolutely requiring physical media. It's not about the trust. It's not about the trust that, oh my goodness, I hope I can get a physical copy of it. Number one, you guys are in control of that and you could easily make more. Number two, again, this is how they're trying to push in the benefit of digitally downloading it is a bunch of the early access stuff. But we know that some games where you got a physical copy came with an early access code. Or if you pre-ordered it, they gave you a code to activate the early access and you could still go and get the physical copy. There's a collector edition market. Well, I mean, even going off the collector's edition market, like some of the stuff is stupidly priced, and there's weeds in there too. There's weeds in there too. People purposely inflating. What was that Carl Jobs talk about? He talked about like how like the video game, the big video game raiders. You know, like you can go and get a trading card graded. There was like a video game grader, and it was proven that they were purposely inflating stuff. That it was because of them that they were a huge chunk of the reason why like games that should not be expensive are now expensive now. There's the aspect of so there's a collector's edition market. There's the aspect of gifting physical items and allowing access for people to be able to easily purchase a game in a store and gift them to their friends and family. Some people will always want the physical copy disc. I just don't think it's going away. Do I think physical sales might get lower over time? Sure, but will it ever completely go away? I don't think so. So it's an interesting insight, but not a surprising one at the very least. Last year, it was reported. Oh, here we go. That over 94% of 2022 total video game sales were digital. And a total physical game sale revenue was 10% down year on year. On a similar vein, only 67% of PlayStation software sales in FY 22-23 were digital. Okay, so we got a little bit of these information here. That's unfortunate. I'm just looking at this article that they linked here. Better part of the last decade has seen digital media taking over entertainment industries, which of course includes video games as well. Year on year, we get reports and sales data. Movies is one thing. I mean, but again, that's also killing the going to a theater. That's why it's because of the streaming stuff that the reason why it's killing the movie theater going experience. And then, of course, the movie theater going experience is because all that stuff that goes into making the movie. That's why they had to jack their prices up to sell popcorn at a ridiculous price, which of course includes video. Okay, so digital sales keep spiking, and that's because they put all the incentives of trying to go to digital. That's why, almost to a startling degree, some might add. Okay, well, I just realized if all games go digitally, places like GameStop will close unless they sell a digital clothes. Well, GameStop is garbage to begin with. GameStop already has its stupid bullshit infested with their garbage. Camelot talks a lot about that one, but we'll bring up this though. We'll bring up the Ubisoft. So this is what the link was to the Activision Blizzard games on Ubisoft and what you need to know. So in August, Ubisoft, so October 13th. Okay, so this is actually the actual latest news. So in August, Ubisoft announced an agreement with Microsoft granting the publisher the perpetual cloud streaming rights for Call of Duty and all other current Activision Blizzard games, and those released over the next 15 years once Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is complete. And then again, Chris Early was a crucial figure in the negotiations. Sat down with Ubisoft News to discuss what Ubisoft Plus subscribers can expect now that that acquisition is finalized. Blizzard Games, this will be interesting. So, why did Ubisoft decide to take streaming rights to take on the streaming rights of Activision's Blizzard games? What does the deal mean for Ubisoft and the Ubisoft Plus subscriptions? So taking on these rights allows Ubisoft to bring Activision Blizzard games like Duty to Ubisoft Plus. See, right there. See, Another thing too is people are pushing with the whole streaming and the digital subscription service stuff. They're now, and we're seeing this. We're seeing this now with PlayStation Plus, probably X Pass Plus. You're getting different tiers of subscriptions. Okay, like this, they're gonna get it to the point where it's like you have to buy the Ultimate Edition, or otherwise we're gonna take all of this like stuff away from you. Yeah, we'll still have the essential plan or the basic plan, but you're not gonna get anything. It's again, it's what they all want you to do. So taking on these rights allows Ubisoft to bring Activision Blizzard games like Call of Duty to Ubisoft Plus, as well as license to streaming access of these games to cloud company or cloud gaming companies, service providers, blah 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 blah. Meaning we're helping expand access for more players across the streamlining service. Except you're not really, because what about all the people that want the old school games back in the day? Are you listening to them? Well, that's not worth the time to get the licensing and stuff like that. But people are asking for it. Why aren't you listening to them? Well, too bad. Okay, then we're gonna go get the ROM. Well, you can't do that. That's our property, dude. You're not making money off of it, and you don't wanna do it. Well, we'll remake it for you. We just got to upgrade it to the modern audience. There you go. See, that's how it goes. I'm sure these are just constant repeating points, but so we've always been a technologically forward-looking company, and we believe that we can create differentiations and competitive advantages for our products through technology, in addition to the games themselves. Yeah, your technology forward-looking company exists remasters and remakes that cater to insane weirdos. So we've been active in the streaming space for a long time, and that's one of the reasons Microsoft came to us. We were the first studio that Google worked for, or worked with for Stadia, the first company that Amazon worked with for Luna. We don't care about this, blah, 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 blah. To Microsoft, it made sense that if somebody was going to be familiar with the space and know what the value would be for streaming, it would be us. And we saw the value as well. Now, you just saw people that you could exploit and then slowly uh, control them into thinking that digital is the way to go. I want my games, because what if all of a sudden, again, and this is one of the fears, what if all of a sudden you wake up one day and then it's like, oh, we can't find your digital library. You can pay to like get all those games back. You can pay for them again if you want. What if they just shut that off? What's going to happen? What if I get a game and then realize I don't want the game anymore? I can't digitally sell my copy anymore. Physically, I can. May not get the same amount of what it would of when I bought it. I could still get it though. So there was a bit of discussion of what rights would be available, and once that was clear, it was easy to see how that would allow us to add Activision Blizzard games to Ubisoft Plus and bring even more value to our offering. It's also content that we might be new or different for our player base, so it allows a broader range of choice. We've already worked with broad, but we can I not like highlight this? Oh, just Ubisoft being really bastards about highlighting apparently on their website. But you're claiming that it's allowed a broader range of choice, but you're the ones deciding on how broad it's going to be. What if a lot of people are going again? What if a lot of people are like we prime example, which I thought a lot of people are saying it's possibly Titanfall 3 could be happening, which would be dope. There's supposedly a rumor. A lot of people are saying it's a Titanfall 3 rumor. Prime example. People love Titanfall. They were really hoping for a Titanfall 3. Well, fuck you. We're going with Apex. We're continuing Apex. Okay. So adding Activision, okay, yeah, we're already working with partners around the world to distribute Ubisoft Plus, whatever. Which games are included in the deal? Does it include other content like DLC? The deal includes all the Activision Blizzard games that are being distributed today, and includes all the games that the Activision will release all or will release over the next 15 years. That includes the Call of Duty franchise and a whole lot more. Yes, it does includes all the DLC, including in-game content and downloadable DLC packs, expansions, and add-ons. Yep. Okay. Just as long as you probably play that Ubisoft Plus game, right? Or that Ubisoft Plus uh pass. Can you explain why the deal is exclusive in some areas of the world but not in others? So you have to seek approval of regulatory body. I mean, I don't really care about this point. For example, a company in France could come to Microsoft and say, I want to play the game. I want to stream the gameplay of Call of Duty to people who own Call of Duty already. And Microsoft is required to license those rights for free to that company so players can stream games on their own. It's known as bring your own game, and that's why the rights are non exclusive in some regions. Well, wait, earlier up. So in the European Economic Area, the European Commission's required Microsoft to allow cloud streaming services to let anybody who owns the game in that territory to play the Activision Blizzard game via streaming for free. Oh, they must have not have been happy about that one. Anyway, all right. So here's the one we've already read about his thoughts about future of physical media and games. Streaming movies and TV shows is one of the key ways that people consume that content today. With games being a larger time investment, do you think gaming via the cloud can compete with other forms of streaming? I think there's two avenues to answering that question. One is the concept of streaming as an access method, and the other is the concept of subscription as an ownership method. But we d- but we don't actually own it though through the subscription method. Firstly, streaming is essentially the same as buying a disc. It's just a way to get those bits to the device you're going to play them on. What? Streaming is essentially the same as buying a disc. No, because if I was watching a video at home, I would have a physical disc in my hand and I would walk over and I would insert it into my Blu-ray player or my DVD player. If it was VHS, my VHS player. Okay, that I disagree with that. That does not make any sense. I absolutely think what it takes is that reliable infrastructure underneath, because none of us wants to be playing and have an internet hiccup and suddenly our game freezing. You know, it would be an awesome solution to avoid playing a game and then having the internet hicking up and suddenly your game freezes. You know what's an awesome solution to that? An actual physical copy of the disc, because then I can just be like, oh, this the disc is fucked up. But if I'm playing on a physical disc of the game and nothing, and like it's not updating itself in the background with a firmware or something, I don't need to worry about if my internet goes out. I just get that warning. You have been disconnected from the internet. We don't want that when we're streaming shows on our TVs either. Again, more so than ever of having a physical disc doesn't affect us at the slightest if the internet goes out. What is this guy talking about? Everyone hates it when you're getting to the climax of a scene and suddenly you get a little spinning loading icon and you get mad. Man, if only there's a way we just had the whole thing in some sort of object that we could then use another object to display on our monitors or TV screen. Shoot, fudge. What can we do? Disc is different. What's with their minds? This guy doesn't want to make sense. I think this is definitely them trying to convince people like digital is the way to go. I mean, unfortunately, scripture wise, it's going to be going that way, especially like when the Antichrist comes and stuff like that, because it states that the world's going to see like what the Antichrist does. So that does mean that, like, technology wise, like everyone's going to have access around the world. That means the internet and stuff like that. But that's getting down a different rabbit hole. Digital equals internet, disk no internet, simple math or simple math. But again, he's trying to avoid the fact of this answer being, well, then just get a physical copy. He's trying to avoid that question. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, but technically streaming now theoretically means it's like having a physical copy. No, it's not. No, it's not. You literally like shot yourself in the foot by giving examples of exactly what would not happen if you had a physical copy of the item, of the material. And again, that I remember back when I was in college, and this was like near 2000, like between 2006 2010. One of the biggest things that we talked about, and it was a liberal college too, but very interestingly enough, one of the big things we talked about was, and this is when Apple was starting to become like the thing, like iTunes and stuff like that, until like people to where, remember back with iTunes, when you could listen to any song you want, until the companies came in and said, "Hey, yeah, you need to pay us a royalty fee." And then all of a sudden it was like, "Oh yeah, we got to fix something." One of the biggest things was the fact of when you bought a song on iTunes, if you read the disclaimer, you technically don't own it. And the fear was, what's going to happen one day when they just decide to pull the plug? We're seeing that right now with, for example, Russell Brand. YouTube just said, "Oh, we don't want to hear the story. We don't want to hear your side of the story of the accusations. You're gone. Sorry, can't make a living off of YouTube." That's the fear. That's the actual fear. Is if the people who work for this company see your social media account and you disagree with them and you disagree with them ideology wise, they could then report back to their higher ups and say, yeah, this person is not allowed to have their digital copies anymore because they go against my belief. You're gone. That's the beer. The beer. I could use a beer, more so whiskey, but that's the big fear. All right, but I'm actually interested in what he has to say. I need to get some more water though. So Chair Coon might be appearing here. Another example is Naruto Blazing Ninja on phone. Thank you for playing. And that was it. Yeah. Can't even get, mobile stuff. Actually, I will take this time to get some water. Do I have like, man, I need to like create a be right back overlay. Wonder if they have like a stock. Well, I made this. So guys, don't forget to like, follow, and turn on notifications over on Rumble if you're enjoying the show, as well as YouTube. But I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water here real quick. So, Chair Coon, hold down the fort for a second. Ah. All right, we're back. I did not put enough flavor enhancer into that water. The audio stream. Why are you telling this, YouTube? I don't care. I don't care about the audio stream being low. Ugh. Dude, I don't touch anything. And it's like YouTube is just like, doesn't seem right today. All right. All right, let's see what else this weirdo has to say. The challenge today for streaming games versus streaming video is that video is linear entertainment, which can be streamed in advance and buffered, or it could just be played on a disc. Granted, you want to make sure that your disc doesn't get scratched or anything, but other than that, it's there. The movie or song is consistent and doesn't change for one person for another. As a result, that can be buffered locally so that you can overcome or hide any small drops in your connection. I can get 0 drops in the connection if I physically own it. On the other hand, gameplay is essentially dynamic. You can't stream in advance if you don't know whether the player is going to turn one way or the other at the end of the corridor. In streaming games, there's more immediate need for quality infrastructure, a quality internet connection, so it's more demanding as a streaming mechanism than streaming music or streaming video. But that said, there are plenty of places in the world today where the internet is pretty good and where streaming works just fine. There are also areas in different countries where it's not good at all, where you don't have good access because of the infrastructure, not because of a lack of desire, not because there are no cloud service available. It's still it doesn't baffle me. It amazes me. And then the other part of the question is the subscription side. Is it a mechanism that's going to last? We believe so. Oh, you guys definitely believe so because that's what you guys want. And that's why we went out and made Ubisoft Plus. We are one of a few companies in the video game space that has enough breadth of content to support our own subscription service. We're seeing a broader range of subscription services and games. I think that will continue. Not everyone has adopted subscriptions on the consumer side at this point, and I don't think absolutely everybody will. Yeah, but it's going to be enough to where you're going to say, well, conform or you're out of luck. People are going to choose what makes sense for them, and I view our job as providing a variety of means of access to our games. What if we want access via physical? Underneath it all, our primary function as a company is to make great games, and then what we do from there is to get them into the hands of as many people as possible. And if some people want to subscribe and get their game access that way, great. If some people want to buy physical games or downloads, great. The more people who can access to our games, the more choice they have, then it shows we're doing our job well. But it's great if they want to go physical games, but then literally up top you said, let's see. Streaming is essentially the same as buying a disc. Oh, it's funny. I don't get it. Oh, good. We're near the end because I was getting annoyed. So, big question, guys, is where will Activision Blizzard games be available to stream in the future? From us, that's something that we'll see as time goes on and things evolve. Our expectation is that they will be on Ubisoft Plus, and then we have the rights to be able to license them individually to companies as well. Perhaps there's a company somewhere in the world that wants to license those rights and add to the streaming service they have, or start up a new streaming service that will eventually buy out. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. And I think that's going to be part of the fun of the next 15 years or more of how streaming evolves. Is this brain rot article over? It's getting there. We're close. I love that. Like we support companies. We support, we support people starting up their own company and competition against us. That's great. We'll just write off that big ass sweet paycheck and send it over to them and they'll gobble it right up and then we don't have to worry about it. The way you said that. It's true though. It's true. How do you think Comcast got to where it is today? That was one of the biggest things too. And people are pissed at Comcast. They're tired of Comcast because they treat their customers like fucking garbage. They give you deals to become a member for them. And then when a longtime person, a longtime member of Comcast or a longtime user of Comcast, simply because that's the only way, that's the only area, that's the only available service, they treat them like garbage. To clarify, all the games that are coming from Activision Blizzard in the next 15 years and those games that exist now, we have those streaming rights in perpetuity. Uh, perpetuity? Yeah. So even after the terms of this deal comes to an end, we'll still have those rights and we will still be able to provide those games. But what about the games before? Not now. Like, what about the games from the past? What about them? Oh, my neck. That doesn't really answer the question. It's because they want to remake it and they want to remake it for the modern audience. I've said it before, like Shadow of the Colossus is probably the best example you can find of a remastered version of a game. It's called remastered, but it's a remake because they built it from the ground up. But they didn't take away anything to it. In fact, they added some stuff to it that didn't change the original story whatsoever. That's a prime example of a game being remade for modern audiences done right because they didn't change anything. They made it better, arguably better. We know player. Okay, so what can players expect to be able to play all these games under Ubisoft? Take time to need, yeah, whatever. We need time. All right, so there was their actual official statement. Seems like garbage. To me, again, I'm not a big fan of digital ownership. Have I bought digital stuff before? Yes, because they were on sale. It's a no-brainer. There's a game that you really like and you like see that it's on sale. Of course, you're going to buy whatever's within your budget. And not to mention, the modding community and stuff like that to where they've actually brought the game back to life. Because hopefully the modding community actually cares about the games as opposed to like the companies remaking it to update it to a modern audience. Oh, here it is. This is what I talked about. Microsoft has completed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Okay, so I did have an article. I guess I just had two articles of that. the whole digital aspect. From Niche Gamer. Activision Blizzard King joins Xbox. All right, so Microsoft has completed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So it's announced that they've officially completed their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Nearly 2 years since they announced the big buyout. The new acquisition is for $68.7 billion and came under heavy scrutiny from both the American Federal Trade Commission as well as the United Kingdom's regulator. Both eventually approved the merger once concerns were addressed. Here's a message from Xbox gaming post or boss Phil Spencer on the acquisition, plus a new video. We love gaming. Okay. We play games. I would hope so. Create games. Indeed, you do. And know firsthand how much games means to all of us as individuals and us as individuals and collectively. No, no. I think you listen to the collective more to the individual, and you listen to a certain group of collectives as a community. Okay. And today we welcome Activision Blizzard and their teams to the Xbox. They are the publishers of some of the most played and most beloved franchises in gaming history across console, PC, and mobile. From Pitfall to Call of Duty, World of Warcraft to Overwatch, Candy Crush sagas to Farm Hero Super Saga, their studios have pushed the boundaries of gaming for players around the world. I've long admired the work of Activision, Blizzard, and King and the impact they've had on gaming, entertainment, and pop culture. Whether it was the late nights spent playing the Diablo 4 campaign with friends from start to finish. Or wait, yeah, that's 4, right? Oh my gosh, I'm still bad at my Roman numerals. I think that's 4, if I'm not mistaken. IV is 4. Okay, that's what I thought. Because V is 5, and then you reverse everything. Ugh. Okay, from start to finish, gathering the entire family in the rec room for our weekly Guitar Hero night. Oh man, I remember Guitar Hero. Or going on an epic streak in Candy Crush. Never knew anyone who did that. Maybe my mom. Some of the most memorable game moments came from experiences through their studios have created. Is an incredible welcome to such legendary teams to Xbox. Well, a lot of people are seeing this as just one big monopoly. As one team, we'll learn, innovate, and continue to deliver on our promise to bring the joy and community of gaming to more people. There's the red flags right there. By more people, they already know who they want to cater to, and they already know who they're going to be listening to. We'll do this in a culture that strives to empower everyone to do their best work, where all people are welcome. There it is right there. So, certain people should not be welcome in the gaming community because they never cared about it, and is centered on our ongoing commitment of gaming for everyone. We are intentional about inclusion in everything we do at Xbox. From our team to the products we make and the stories we tell to the way our players interact and engage as a wider gaming community. Didn't players interact and engage as a wider gaming community? Yeah, wasn't there like a big thing recently with Activision to where they started censoring people from like, your early COD chat rooms with all them gamer words being thrown around. Pretty sure you guys don't like that. Pretty sure you guys went out of your way to like do something about that. to punish people who who just say shit just to say shit to get a reaction. Those were good days. Woo! Oh man. Together, we'll create new worlds and stories, bring your favorite games to more places so more players can enjoy in, and we'll engage with and delight players in new, innovative ways in the places they love to play, including mobile, cloud streaming, and more. Players have always been at the center of everything we do. Yes, gaming words was was a fun time to listen to. Oh, dude, I've heard some of the most funniest funniest things during that time. Even with my friends bantering back and forth. Oh, it was so funny. People got ass mad over it. And it's so funny because who cares? Like, who cares if someone calls you a fag? Who cares? Oh my gosh, get over it. Uh, anyway, I was too busy reminiscing about back in the day when people weren't fags. Let's see. As promised, we also continue to make more games available in more places, and that begins now by enabling it begins now, folks. And that begins now by enabling cloud streaming providers and players to stream Activision Blizzard games in the European Economic Area, a commitment made to the European Commissions. Today, we start the work to bring beloved Activision, Blizzard, and King franchise to Game Pass and other platforms. We'll share more about when you can expect to play it in the upcoming months. We know you're excited, and we are too. That's why we got rid of the free gold games. Hey, what's up, Stewie? How am I doing? I'm doing a lot better. Will not lie, am slowly getting over a bout of depression, but we're doing good. We're doing good. Chaos Smash says, I felt uncomfortable hearing the N word back then. I don't mind it when it's done in a humorous way now, except in from black people, then it pisses you off. I did not feel uncomfortable at all about hearing the N word because I think the N word is funny in general, just like faggot. It is funny. It literally means something else. So who cares? All right. For the millions of fans who love Activision, Blizzard, and King Games, we want to we want you to know that today is a good day to play. You are the heart and soul of these franchises, and we are honored to have you as a part of our community. Sorry, bud. I'm glad you're pulling through. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's still frustrating about everything that's happening, but the Lord gives me strength. So, but when you've been diagnosed with depression, it's just, it's just, it comes with the territory. Just some days it's just harder than others, but you know, we got it. We got it. Let's see. Whether you play Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PS Mobile, you are welcome here and you will remain welcome, even if Xbox isn't where you play your favorite franchise, because when everyone plays, we all win. Well, not the people that don't agree with your ideology. They don't win because you censor them and ban them. Amen. Amen indeed. What's up, Nick? You're a good man, Greg, over on Rumble. Oh, thanks. I try to be transparent. That's one of the things I've learned when really trying to push to making content and streaming like a full-time thing. To have that ultimately be the goal to where I can do what I feel that God has called me to do and the gifts that God has given me. That's where you see with a lot of these people that you might like and enjoy watching is transparency. People want authenticity, and it's just inhumanly possible to keep up an act forever. Nick's talked about this. You've heard it from somewhere else. That's why celebrities are miserable half the time. is because they get trapped in their own world and they feel they have to keep it up. They have to keep up the facade. And if anything, it helps eviate their skeletons that they try to hide. So that's what I try to do. I just try to be transparent. Obviously, that doesn't mean sharing every single personal aspect of my life. Uh, you know, that's something to where it's, in the end it's me to decide how much I would want to share. But yeah, that's something I don't mind talking about. I've talked about it before on streams with Eric and stuff like that. So it's no biggie. If anything, hopefully it helps people not be ashamed or heaven forbid, like feel like no one can relate to them, because everyone can relate to somebody. But we're all unique in a way to where we will not 100% understand everybody, but we can relate, if that makes sense. Anyway, well, that's it. I think that's all they're talking about. Well, yeah, I was watching Side Scroller podcast with Stuttering Craig and stuff like that. And they did a vote, and a lot of people were not happy about the merger. I mean, I wasn't either, because again, it's definitely a actual gamers that care about what's happening and stuff like that see this as a monopoly takeover, and they're worried about it because they're seeing all this updated to modern audience garbage happening and taking place. That's what people are afraid of with this. And I'm concerned about it too. Well, that was super gay. So let's see. So I've been saving this one because this one actually just popped up and I had no clue about it. And that has to do with a certain anime dubbing studio that was absorbed into another studio. Oh, Sony roll. Oh, funny roll, Sony roll. Did anyone know that apparently Crunchyroll was in a class action lawsuit? I didn't know. I thought that was super interesting. That one kind of went under the radar. Chaos Mesh says, finally talking about Crunchyroll. Geez, that took forever. You know what? Fuck you. You'll sit there and wait until I get to this topic. Yeah, and I skimmed a little bit. I guess this came out like someone filed this like back in September, but I had no idea it was happening. So it definitely caught my interest. So let's see what all this has to entail. So Crunchyroll settles class action lawsuit asserting they exposed subscribers' personal info. Ah, yes. That old hat trick. Okay, Chaos Smash. I won't. He's angry. He's got the anger veins. The Crunchyroll, the Crunchyroll. I like how I asserted. It's like the Satan, the Crunchyroll. All right. Anyway, Crunchyroll has settled a class action lawsuit where they were accused of making the private information of their subscribers available to sites like Facebook. Oof. I mean, that should just be a given nowadays. What the hell is this? Get this out of my face. Dude, fucking Elgato. Elgato Game Capture keeps wanting me to update it, and I always say no. Like, and I even turned off to like notify me of updates. Just will not leave me alone. So, reaching a settlement with Salvador Beltran Jr., Ellie Gross, and others, Sony Pictures Entertainment and Crunchyroll has allowed users of the Crunchyroll service, be it those who registered streaming or using the company's website/app, to acquire $30. Exact amount is unknown at the moment, apparently, as compensation. What? We've got dude, nice with his first super chat. Baller. Bust that out. We got from dude, you've helped me through some hard times and kept me company at times when I was alone, broke and living in my car. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. By God's grace, I'm happy to have found this community. Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm glad I'm able to help you guys in any way, shape, and form. And thank you very much for the blessing. You did not have to do that. And of course, I follow what Nick has declared, and that is, any sort of support is fine. Just make sure you guys don't financially put yourself out there if you are budgeting and stuff like that. But it's the least you can do, my man. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the blessing. Thank you. That does mean a lot. And it's so cool. I get to look over here and see it in my viewer activities list over in YouTube. Ooh. But anyway, yeah, it's a trade-off. Like you guys, just talking with you guys helps me not think about and obsess over the struggles I'm going with, and I'm glad that with interacting with you guys that you guys find that comfort for me as well. So Chaos Match says recently I saw my friend was subscribed to Crunchyroll. Country roll. I could use a nice country roll. They're delicious because they're homemade and made with love. I didn't say anything to her, but when this news came up, I knew I had to tell her. She canceled it. Well, let's go in deeper. I actually got 2 articles of this pulled up too. So I definitely want to see if we can get more information about this. Oh, well, Niche Gamer. It's very short with Niche Gamer, but I want to let me read this again because I feel like I'm reading this wrong. So, reaching a settlement with apparently these list of people, Sony Pictures and Crunchyroll have allowed users of the Crunchyroll service, be it those who registered, streamed, or used the company's app or website, to acquire $30 as compensation. Okay. Only $30. How much is the Crunchyroll? I'm curious. How much is the Crunchyroll subscription? And they're promoting a 14-day free trial. Try that premium. Let's see. Here we go. View premium plan. So you can be a fan and have pay $8 a month, which does not allow you off time viewing. You can be the mega fan for $10 a month with applicable taxes, so probably like an extra $2 or something like that, which does allow you offline viewing and first access to special Crunchyroll Expo events and $15 off of $100 purchase. I don't know why I'm well, that sounds retarded. Or you could be the ultimate fan and pay $15 a month to not only get $25 off of $100 purchases in Crunchyroll store every 3 months, first access of stupid expo events and offline viewing, and you can stream on 6 devices at a time, get an annual swag bag, and access to an exclusive limited run Hime Nidoroid figure. My goodness, that does not sound enticing at all. Possibly maybe the mega fan. See, but that's the big thing. That's how they're getting you to at least go to the middle of the road stuff is the offline viewing. Because then if you're on an airplane, you're flying around on an airplane, you can download whatever a show you want to watch and watch it. So for $30, so right now they're offering a $30 compensation, which literally that's Not even 2 months. That's like what? A month? No, that is 2 months. So literally $30, the equivalent of 2 months of the ultimate mega, you know, I'll finger your asshole pass. I found out about it from having access to her Google account. That sounds weird, but it worked. And they're saying that they don't even know the exact amount or it's not being released. I'm sure they know the exact amount. The lawsuit asserted that Crunchyroll gave the private information of its subscribers to third party companies such as Facebook, violating the Video Privacy Protection Act. And then Sony Pictures and or Entertainment and Crunchyroll denies this, but settled the lawsuit to quote, to avoid the uncertainties and expenses associated with continuing the case. Those eligible have to send in their claim form before December 12th to qualify for the compensation. There you go, guys. Make sure to get those forms in because you don't want to miss out on that sweet, sweet Crunchyroll $30 compensation, which will pay off a whopping 2 months worth of the ultimate mega fan uh, pass. Woo! Well, there's not a whole lot from the niche gamer article, but I do have another one open up too. I had no idea. I had no idea they were actually under a class action lawsuit. Huh. That one slipped under my radar. Reaching a settlement. And I guess there's a link. Oh no, it's the dreaded Anime News Network. Apparently, this is from archive.com. That's creepy. Stewie, what's a Crunchyroll? What's Crunchyroll? It's an anime streaming service that Funimation uh Sony bought Funimation, and then Crunchyroll and Sony combined together. This is where you can get all your SJW dubbing needs. Crunchyroll. All right, so this from archive.today. So this is from Anime News Network. Let's see if they add anything else. Users in the okay, so it's only users in the US who have registered, streamed, or otherwise used the Crunchyroll website or app are eligible for payment. Oh, that sucks. So only users in the US, huh? Oh, sorry guys. Sorry Australians and all that stuff out there. Eligible users must submit a claim form by December 12th. Well, wait a minute. This says December 12th, and then, oops, wrong one. In Niche Gamer, it said, oh, it did say 12th. I thought I said the 13th. Maybe I'm just retarded and I can't read. Okay, so it's a literal. Did they really wait a minute? Hold on. Did Niche Gamer just copy and pasted Anime News Networks? Crunchyroll has settled a lawsuit. Reached us. Okay, so they changed it a little bit, but no wonder that. But it's very close. This article is very, very small, based on the Anime News Network. But hey, Anime News Network, I think they're not ones to actually follow proper journalism. So who cares? Nick over on Rumble says, don't really need dubbing anymore because with AI, you could use the original actor voice and change the language. That is very true and very, we all know how much the actors are worried about that. Um, very true. Oh, that could be crazy. Oh, that would be the best troll ever. Could you imagine like going through and finding all the garbage translation that Crunchyroll has done and then just using AI to uh to change the lines back to what they should be? Dude, that'd be amazing. And just spam the crap to the people going, this is what it should be. Oh, that'd be so funny. All right, but then I also have another article talking about this, so maybe this one will give us a little bit more information. So this is from a site called Silicon Era, Silicon Era. So Crunchyroll subscribers in the US eligible for payment. So, as we know, if you're a US user, you get eligible for a $30 compensation. This is because they settled that action lawsuit. And then, oh my gosh. Well, they're thanking Anime News Network for this. So, rest in peace this website. But in 2022, a subscriber named Lisa, well, I mean, her name's already on there, but I don't really want to dox them, but whatever, sued Crunchyroll and Sony Pictures Entertainment. She accused the companies of disclosing subscribers' personal and private information to third parties, such as Facebook. Silicon Era is likely a woke site. I guess that's true. Silicon Valley. I guess I should have taken it. I should have taken the hint. Ugh. Anyway, while Sony Pictures and Crunchyroll denied the claims, they settled to quote avoid this uncertainties and expenses associated with continuing the case. Selling user information to third-party companies on its own is not illegal. However, in Crunchyroll's case, it is alleged that the company did not inform or ask for consent from its users before doing so. This goes against the U.S. Privacy Protection Act, which decrees that companies must get users' permission before disclosing their data to third parties such as Meta. But isn't that the so-called like agreement? Like, isn't that in like the cookies and stuff like that? So if you like go at least onto the Crunchyroll website and you agree to to the cookies, that's where they get the third-party information. Maybe, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an expert, nor did I ever claim to be. So, because this was an American legal case, God bless America, only those in the United States who subscribed to the service between September 8th, 2020 and September 20th, 2023 will get a payment. So, though unrelated to the lawsuit, Crunchyroll has offered a Halloween initiative to let non subscribers watch some anime for free in October 2023. Hey, I pointed that out. I pointed that out on how it's funny that they offered a uh, a 17 free trial. Well, that's disappointing. That's very limited information. Oh well. Oh yeah, and I gave my thoughts. I uploaded a video on YouTube about and Rumble about my thoughts about Dragon Ball Daima. Demai. I guess Demai would be it because if you add the O, it's Demayo, which is like Piccolo de Mayo. I want to know where this website takes place. Ooh, I'm already seeing zinger comments. We could read the comments. Let's see. Where is this? About us. I just want to know where the store is. Oh, it's Daima. You had it right the first time. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Piccolo de Mayo. Well, in any case, whatever. Uh But there, I want to read the comments. In unrelated news, Crunchyroll will increase subscription prices by 40% this year. As if the normal breaches aren't enough, never really paid for Crunchyroll except the occasional free trials. Netflix Japan is more than enough covered for me. Dang, what a bad time to sail the seven seas. I'd be cool with a with a free yearly sub. Can I opt into that? Never mind. Got to make an account and file a claim and blah. And I'm reading this wonderful news just 2 days after I got an email from Right Stuff Anime thanking its customers for supporting them over the years and saying how they're excited about having been absorbed and shut down by beloved anime brand Crunchyroll. And the Crunchyroll store will continue to provide the same quality and protection that you've come to expect. Oh wait, that's only when it comes to the premium packaging, not our user data. That was my laugh my ass off. Laugh my ass off. Oh, here's one from Randy Marsh. Let's see if good old Randy, me, is eligible for this. And by me, I mean my younger brother who pays for our Crunchyroll. So what were they doing with the user data? It was claimed that they didn't make it clear that it was possible that they would be selling their people's subscriptions information to third parties. That's the claim. And supposedly Sony settled it just because, oh, if we spend so much on this, it'd be a huge mess. Buffalo Soldier. Oh my gosh, Randy. I know. Smoking marijuana right in front of a cop. Randy, your balls, they're big. Yeah. Just trying to get a little cancer, Stan. Goodness, a corporation selling off personal data to third parties? Truly shocking and unheard of. But wait, why would Facebook be buying personal data when they themselves sell off personal data? Well, there's that. So that's kind of the topics I wanted to talk with you guys about that caught my eye. So I don't think there's anything else to cover. I mean, we could possibly look for one more here. Can I play Hiro Hie's video? Well, which video is it? I need to get a haircut. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, getting that George Costanza look. Ah, the curse of the redheads. Either keep those luscious locks. Oh yeah, this was another thing that caught my eye is Best Buy is ending DVD and Blu-ray disc sales. That sucks. And well, what's the video about? Title is People Had Enough. It's everywhere. Yeah, we could take a look here real quick. Electronic retailer Best Buy. I want to see this real quick. Electronic retailer Best Buy has announced they're ending sales of both DVD and Blu-ray disc, ending their decades of home media distribution. The retailer, which operates over 1,000 stores nationwide and some internationally, will end sales online It's a petition of JP localization will end sales online and in store for both DVDs and Blu-rays in early 2024. The retailer will still offer remaining inventory and upcoming releases through this holidays. To state the obvious, the way we watch movies and TV shows is much different today than it was decades ago, a Best Buy spokesman said to Variety. Ugh. Making this change gives us more space and opportunity to bring customers new and innovative tech for them to explore, discover, and enjoy. Well, what other stuff? Like, seriously, it takes up that much shelving? Like this supposed new innovative tech? Like, what are you guys going to sell? Sex dolls or something? Despite the discouraging announcement that Best Buy is ending DVD and Blu ray sales, the retail giant will still offer physical video game sales. Dude, people are going to be going the way of thrift stores, man. Best Buy exiting sales for DVDs and Blu-rays leaves Amazon, Walmart, and Target as the top retailer. Sellers still selling physical media. Streaming platform Netflix also recently ended their physical media distribution after 25 years. Wait, Netflix actually had a physical media distribution? I remember way back in the day that when that first started, they would like email you the disc and then you had to email it back. Huh. Sending out their latest DVDs to subscribers at the end of September this year, DVD rental kiosk companies Redbox is still somehow in business, operating 29,000 DVD rental kiosks nationwide. Originally founded in 1966, Best Buy. Dang. As the audio store Sound of Music, only to later be rebranded to Best Buy in 1983 while shifting to focus on consumer electronics at large. Well, damn. That sucks. All right. And then I guess we'll wrap up the show here after we check out Hiro Hiei. People have had enough. Oh, it's only 4 minutes. That's not. All right.
Ryugamine Ryu for the tag, and I like the name. Makes me think of Mikado Ryugamine from Durarara. So it looks like the news we have here is that some people got sick of the localizer corruption and decided to make a petition to, quote, introduce a code of ethics for localization. And that change, they say, has to come from the IP holders in Japan. Further adding that the plan is to deliver the the petition to Ken Akamatsu, the well-known mangaka and creator of Love Hina, and of course well-known politician over in Japan as well, who has fought for years for Japan's artistic freedom. The petition goes on to state, the localization industry of Japanese media, video games, anime, and manga is plagued with unprofessionalism, going from unnecessary changes and insertion of inside jokes all the way to censorship of content the localizers deem to be, quote, inappropriate, unquote, for audiences outside of Japan. Going on to essentially talk about how localizers abuse their power, even against the wishes of the target demographic, the target audience around the globe. Going on to break down a number of guidelines and some bullet points here, with 1 saying no alteration of names of characters, locations, or others shall be done without reason. 2, removal of content, be it sexual, violent, thematic, or otherwise, can be done only if such criteria is met. 3, dialogue changes may only occur in a manner that carries over the original intent, meaning this. And 4,
I saw that gamer
content is
mansplaining.
essential. Finally,
that's a good point, though.
And 6, actually, mistranslations, whether by mistake or in purpose, should be fixed as quickly as possible after discovery, even after release, be it for games in the form of patches and updates, digitally distributed media, streaming for the case of anime and image hosting sites for the case of manga, and physically distributed media, Blu-ray and DVD disc, print, and manga should be recalled.
I'm assuming you
guys
can hear
translations. And finally, as mentioned, 6, refusal to adhere to these guidelines shall face punishment. Adding an important note regarding the parody of content, and seemingly translating the entire thing in Japanese as well. Finally, they closed the petition with examples of unprofessionalism in the localization industry. And at the very top is just an absolutely insane video. If you've never seen this before, like, check this out. So on the left, you have USA. On the right, you have Japan.
Okay, good.
The video description itself saying, Fire Emblem Fates suffers from pointless changes in the USA version, like removal of features and butchering of supports. View support conversations again. And on the right, you see what it should say. And on the left is what USA apparently did get, which is essentially nothing. It's nothing there. And then it just goes
What?
back to the menu. Imagine clicking the conversation and there's no conversation. But of
Wow.
course, that's just like the archive, I believe. So, like, you get that conversation first when you're actually playing through the game, and you should see what's on the right, basically. And instead, you're met with, well, as the petition says, 26 boxes of dialogue removed for the sake of making a joke about ninjas being silent. I don't know if this
Really?
was the localizer being offended by
Dude,
something this time,
no.
or if they were just being lazy or something. I don't know,
No,
but
that's
that is
that's
just
called being
crazy.
lazy and
Just
an
as
asshole.
crazy is how a lot of people who are apolitical watch my videos or find topics like this to be interesting. And there's also people on the left and right that tune in and find these topics to be interesting. Yeah, right
No.
or far right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stop it there. Yeah, I'd support that. Yeah, because that's what it should have been all in the first place. See, and this is the thing. This is why when I've had Ruben on, when I had Doug to Naple on, and hopefully I can get Vic on. Still working on that. But they've all said it before. Is that it? What like this whole stupid ideology and stuff like that? It was there, but they weren't inside the industry just yet. And if there was actually any problems that anybody had, um, it was dealt with behind the scenes and did not affect the media or the product at hand. And this is what these people have done. They have infiltrated the system. They have determined that this ideology is part of the requirement, is part of the product. This this ideology only. Anything else, and then that's where they'll label you as not a real fan, not this, not that, not up to date, not modernized, doesn't support equality, all this shit. This is what they do. This is what we saw with the voice actors. This is what we're seeing with in video games and stuff like that. That this ideology, they are trying to rewrite it to where it needs and has to be part of the final product. And it's 100% bullshit. It was never like this. This is why you see them going back to old school franchises from way back in the day that people love and then modernizing it with the hopes of rewriting history. And that for some retarded reason, praying and hoping that the people of future generations will look at their version and somehow just go, well, yeah, that's where all this stuff came from. So, okay, I understand. No, people aren't stupid. They'll go back further and find out where it really came from. They're trying to make a quick buck on already pre established franchises, and they're using the excuse to we need to modernize it, to be lazy, to not be creative, and to literally insert a version of themselves into the material with the hopes that people just blindly go, well, it's this franchise, so I'll support it regardless. No, no, no. You guys got to voice out and you got to say, we don't like this shit. We see the bullshit and it needs to stop. Ryu, Ryu Gamine or Gamine, Ryu Gamine Ryu is on the Twitter page and the link to the petition is on his Twitter. Okay, yeah, if people want to go and support it, I'd say go check it out. And with that, I will go ahead and end it on that note. Might want to link the petition and a pinned comment for other people to sign. Um, I, I'm I don't mind if people will go out of their way to check the petition. I personally would like to look into it a little bit more because I don't, I like to know what I would post, like what would not really promote, but like, you know, encourage, like, not give them my support or something like that. I pretty much before I do anything, I like to know the full thing about it before I'll share it out with people. Um, but yeah, people can find it here. I'll put this. Is that if so you have that on here, this right here, Twitter. I'm assuming that's his Twitter name. So if people want to go and check out the support. Mind if I send a link to you so you can look it over? I mean, you could send me the link and you can look it over. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm not right now because I don't know the full thing. I'm not endorsing anything, but if people want to go check it out for themselves, that's that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm talking about. It's kind of like whenever you watch one of Nick's shows and people say, "Hey, go, go check out this Gifts and Go and stuff." Nick, Nick says like, "Okay, yeah, I can't really endorse it because I don't know what it's about." Sort of thing, but you guys can go check it out if you want to, sort of thing. That's where I'm getting at. I'm just being careful, I'm just being careful of doing that stuff. Um, I mean, is that the guy's name? I had it up on screen so people can pause it if they wanted to and then go on Twitter and see what's up. Here it is. Yeah, that's the thing. That's all I'm saying. That's his ad for Twitter. Yeah, I found it. Okay, so it's there. So it's a change dot petition. Okay, so it's change.org. Okay, I'll take a look at this offline, but yeah, you can easily find it, you guys, if you go to the name that I showed on screen, and then find the tweet that has the petition in there, and you guys can look and check it out for yourself. So cool, cool. I think that's it for tonight. I'll probably should be on tomorrow streaming, game streaming. We'll probably continue the Dragon Ball. I should not donate money to change.org, right? Again, I change.org, I don't know their history, and this is what the sad part is that you would pray and hope that and have good faith that they do the right thing and stuff like that. So I can't tell you what to do, nor am I going to tell you what to do, unless when it comes to supporting my show, which you definitely should. All the more reason after this wonderful catastrophe that was a show. All the more reason that you should like, subscribe, and turn on notifications on YouTube, and like and follow and turn on notifications on Rumble. And of course, I have my other social media listed in the description below. And, beyond just pushing the algorithm up just to get more exposure and stuff, we have my locals is connected, your membership tiers over on YouTube. And then I think, what is it, the join tier for Rumble. So that's always there too for anybody that feels inclined to go above and beyond. Again, do as you wish. All right. So yeah, that's it. And I need to get some food anyway. So I'm dipping for tonight, and I'll look over that petition, see what's up, and if it seems like a good cause, yeah, I encourage everyone to look it over as well and do what you think is going to do. All right. So, yep. Yep. See you, Loki. See you, Stewie. See you, Chaos Smash. Thanks everyone to joining. Like I said, we'll be game streaming tomorrow. I'll probably continue Dragon Ball Z, Super Gokuden, and maybe we can finish up that game. Not exactly sure. I do plan on playing Splatterhouse towards the end of the month as we get too closer to Halloween. So that'll be our Halloween theme game streaming specifically. So we'll try to see if we can get through the Splatterhouse series. And might be possible that we might be doing some retro gaming with a friend called Tomby. Been watching his streams. He's been playing Boulder's Gate with Nina Infinity and stuff like that. So check him out. He's been plugging the show and the channel and stuff like that. So I'm kindly returning the favor and suggesting you guys check him out. You can find him on YouTube, Twitter, Kick, Twitch. He's experimenting. He's multi-streaming with everything. Co-op games? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure. So we'll definitely see what's up. But very possible. I don't know, or we're just hanging out as we're playing retro games and just shooting the shit and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna get me some food, and as you can tell, my throat is getting a tad bit scratchy, just because of everything. Ugh. But in any case, and you know, go check out, go hang out with all the people you enjoy. Next show will be on 11, and I think he's doing something with Bronca. It looked like a an auction or something like that. So, all right, now I am for real signing off. So, you guys have a good day. God bless. Take care. Catch you guys on the flip side. Thanks for all your guys' support. Thanks for helping me get out of my funk. And you guys have a good night. Take care.